This has Broncos fans concerned after what has been an amazing win streak. It finally came to an end. Unfortunately, some Broncos fans found that this loss was a good wake up call to end the season or close to the end of the season, and maybe it'll get them prepared to be a bit more cautious and a bit more fired up for our playoff run, which has already been secured. Don't get me wrong, and now we have to finish out the season the right way. Take care of a very battered up and already out of the playoffs Chiefs team in Kansas City wearing those gorgeous all white uniforms. And then, the game of the season essentially against the Chargers, probably, which is going to be for the AFC West, depending on how Saturday goes with the Chargers and Texans facing each other. But welcome to Broncos Digest. I'm Sebastian, really excited to talk about, unfortunately, I was not able to stream the game. I was planning on doing it, but it was not showing in my area, unfortunately, so was forced to watch it on Red Zone, and not the greatest game to watch in the end. I don't think Bo played as bad as people say, but at the same time, some drops from Sutton, some miscommunication around the field, and then the defense. That's really going to be the story of this video. Is them being a question mark right now. Are they okay? Will they be okay? And how are we going to move forward knowing, okay, now all of a sudden the defense is a concern? Not what you expected, or many of us expected, getting into this close to the end of the season. But here we are. It was, the offense was like almost unwatchable at one point, and the defense was spectacular. Now it's like the other way around, where the defense just was having a really hard time keeping up with the Jaguars. And granted, they are on red hot, one of the hottest teams in the NFL. But this has been a recurring pattern. We were getting blown up by Marcus Mariota and the Washington Commanders. Even the Raiders did some few things against us. And then the Packers, they, had their way a few times. Now, that was a different circumstance, but still, I want to feel a bit better about this defense to end the season. Like, people are going to be saying that the Christmas game is going to be a get-right game. We'll see how that works. I hope that's the case. And we'll see. But let's jump into the topic here. I'm really excited to talk about this. So Sean was talking about all the things that were important or are important to winning. We didn't do a good enough job with, and that starts with me. They were better on third downs. They won the turnover battle, and they won the kicking battle. So he was very, open and honest about the fact that the Jaguars were just the better team. No matter, I know there was a lot of talk about the penalties and how much that factored into the game, but I'm not going to blame losers. Blame penalties. It's been a thing all season. I know the refs have been really bad this year, and the NFL is going to be taking action for next year, as reported that they'll start holding refs accountable, which is really good. But for now, this season, it's going to be the way it is, and we have to get over that stuff. So good chance that the Broncos will see the Jaguars again in the playoffs, but the first things first is to still secure the 1 seed, and that could come down to the Broncos-Chargers game, which is going to be very stressful, but I'm excited to be playing that kind of a big game in January, a proto playoff game essentially. So but Sean was very aware. He hasn't had to talk like this in many press conferences. It's usually after a win for 3 months in a row, and now it's finally taking accountability for a unfortunate loss. Aqib Talib just talking about where was the blame to go. He said, we desperately missed Brandon Jones. I don't think PJ Locke, that is, can't get it done. He definitely can get it done. It wasn't just him. We had a lot of sacks, but still, I felt like Trevor Lawrence had good time in the pocket, so it was a little bit of everybody. And I agree with Talib that like the sacks that we did get weren't like timely sacks. They were just like adding to the sack counter. Nick Benito even like proclaimed that he played like a booty. And just most guys were disappointed in their performance, that this wasn't up to standard, obviously, defensively. And, we just let things get away from us a bit. And that's just, taking accountability. They're not going to like pretend like the refs stole the game from them. That was not the case. The Jaguars made the plays and the Broncos did not, and they were not able to keep up. Dre Greenlaw, he also had a hamstring injury. He played in 71% of the snaps during the game before leaving, just before the 2-minute warning. So he will very likely not play the Christmas game. Now, we'll see how long the injury keeps him out. He was not placed on IR in the past few days, today being Christmas Eve. And so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, crossing fingers that, we'll have him still for like the Chargers game or the playoffs, just for sure. But for now, Strenard is going to be there, and Alex Singleton. Those will be the starting linebackers. They should be able to get it done against the Chiefs. We'll see how they get things done against the Chargers and all that. But that's just worth noting. And talking about the Chargers, I saw this meme. I thought it was really funny, but objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. The Chargers right now do hold the tiebreaker over the Broncos because of their initial win over us at the beginning of the season. So if they sweep us, they will get that tiebreaker, and we will lose the division. We'll become a wild card team. So we'll completely lose home field advantage. So there's a lot at stake. The Chargers, impressively enough, have been doing a great job without their 2 starting tackles, which is why on Saturday I will be rooting very hard for the Texans to do some more dirty work for us. Like first time with the Chiefs and now with the Chargers. So maybe we don't have to stress too much about the last game of the season. But we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. I just really want to win the AFC West, man, and not give it up at the last second. So that worth noting, obviously. And then Christopher Hart from Mile High Report said that after starting off the first half of the season hot, the defense has experienced major regression over the past 5 or 6 games. At one point in time, they were surrendering less than 19 points a contest. That number has jumped a full touchdown over the past 5 weeks of play. On Sunday, blown coverages, missed tackles, and failing to stop the Jaguars in the red zone were 3 major issues. It's a lot to overcome and fix on such a short notice. Finishing off the season with wins is an absolute must. Doing that will give them home field advantage in the playoffs. If not, the Broncos could wind up being a road team in the wild card round that won't get to host a postseason matchup. And that's the last thing the coaches, players, and fans across Broncos country want to see happen. So kind of, speaking the gospel there, very obvious what the Broncos need to do, just win these last 2 games. Now, winning has been a big part of this season. They're no stranger to winning. They know how to win. The Jags just had a better game. They came in hot. They, used a Sean Payton small market quote to get them all riled up, even though Sean talks in a way that makes it sound like he's being pompous and really annoying. I actually do think he was trying to give them credit, and he said afterwards that he clarified that he was trying to say they're doing a really good job for a team that doesn't get a lot of national recognition because of the small market. And but it's usually just the way he delivers things. He typically has to go into press conferences and clarify things he says because he always sounds like a jerk. But anyway, the Jaguars use that and a lot of other things. Liam Cohen called one of his best games of the season. The Jaguars defense showed up to play, but I still have a lot of faith in Bo Nix, and we all hope that Pat Bryant is obviously okay. I believe he was discharged from the hospital with just a concussion injury, so hopefully he's still able to play again in the playoffs, or just hopefully he's just okay in general, and we worry about that first thing above all. So that's also something that's worth noting. The Pat Bryant injury and the Dre Greenlaw injury are both very notable, but the Broncos can still win regardless in the meantime, and I hope those guys get better while all that's going on. But tomorrow's Christmas, and we have a Broncos game on Christmas Day, and it'll be time for the Broncos to really show that, listen, this Chiefs team just lost to the Titans, pretty dramatically. Not dramatically, but emphatically. And there's no reason this Broncos team should lose to them. I don't care who's playing, whatever. This team has the motivation, the guys. I don't care. It's in Kansas City. They got to go out there and just do what they got to do. I think Gardner Minshew is dealing with an injury, so it'll be like a 3rd string practice squad quarterback playing one of his first games. So can't lose this game. You just, you take care of business on Christmas and then get ready for the Chargers game. And listen, I believe Sean's going to get things right, at least on Thursday. It is nice to try and get, the bad taste of that Jaguars loss out of your mouth, very quickly with the game on Thursday. So I hope that they just take care of business, man. Not many people are probably going to be watching that game because it's a 13.5 point spread right now in favor of the Broncos. And I just want to beat them up like we did last year against I think we beat them 38-0 because of the backups being played and all that. But this will be a very similar looking game in terms of who's playing. And, let's send Travis Kelce into retirement the right way with a loss. So anyway, what are you guys feeling right now about the Broncos and your confidence level? Where's your confidence level on the defense? Do you think that they'll get things fixed? Do you think that, this is just a sign of a small lull, peaks and valleys, and we will escalate back going into the playoffs? I want to hear what you guys have to say, and but until next video, guys, we'll see you then.